Hello, I'm Oliver Colling, and this is the My 70s TV Childhood Quiz. Welcome back to the My 70s TV Childhood Quiz. We are the sister podcast to My 70s TV Childhood, a podcast dedicated to celebrating what it was like to grow up in the UK during the 1970s and the special part that TV played in our lives and our families' lives back then. If you haven't listened to us before, then I'd only ask, why not? We've been going for about 5 years now, and our listeners seem to like it. And this is a round called Back to School. This quiz is scheduled to be released in early September, when thoughts inevitably go to thinking about the return to school, even 40 or so years after I left. Happiest days of your life, apparently. All I know is that I did enjoy school, but thank God I don't ever have to go back. Question 1. What was the name of the head teacher in the first episode of Grange Hill in 1978? Question 2. Who was the main host of the school quiz Top of the Form? Question 3. Which of the following did not present Play School? Colin Jevons, Stuart McGugan, or Keith Chegwin? Tricky, that one. And question 4. Phil Daniels and Ray Burdiss starred as two lads leaving school tried to find out a suitable career in which ITV drama? And question 5. I can't help going back to Grange Hill again. What was Tucker Jenkins's real first name? So it wasn't Tucker, as many of you may have thought, but what was his real name? How was that for starters? Let's move on to round 2. And this is our marathon or Fil Rouge round, so called in honour of the recurring round featured on It's a Knockout and its European cousin Jeux Sans Frontières. All the questions refer to things we've covered in previous episodes of the podcast. Now, given there are around 170 episodes to listen to now, I'm not sure regular listeners do have that much of an advantage anymore. Anyway, let's find out. Question 1. In April 2024, we went back in time to the Tomorrow People, and I revealed an early crush on the character Carol, who featured in early series of the programme. Who played Carol? Question 2. Way back in January 2021, we looked back at things which scared us. Well, things that scared me at least. In our episode, Be Afraid, Be Very Afraid. Amongst those was a series from Anglia, which featured a very famous film star and director, introducing scary stories. Who was the famous actor who had somehow been persuaded to go and film in Norwich? And for a bonus, what was the name of the show? Question 3. Just after Christmas in 2023, we shared a lovely discussion with Colin Edmonds. Colin Edmonds was a joke writer, but who did Colin write jokes for? And question 4. In May 2024, we look back at how special FA Cup final day was in the 1970s. Now, which football team do I support, who appeared in 3 finals during the 1970s? And question 5. US detective shows featured an episode in August 2022. Which husband and wife team were introduced at the start of every episode by their faithful retainer Max, played by Lionel Stander? And so we're halfway through already. And so let's move on to our next round. And this is our famous Spin the Wheel and Name That Tune round, which always draws a lot of comment from listeners. Here's how it works. I will spin our specially constructed Wheel of Fate to choose a year from the 1970s, which I'll then put input into our state-of-the-art AI-powered theme tune generator to generate 5 theme tunes from shows first shown on UK TV that year. I don't know if you agree, but music is so powerful in helping me to remember certain times and places, which means that I love this round too. Okay, enough chat. Let's spin the wheel. And it's landed on 1978. Okay, let me input that into our AI-powered theme tune generator and see what we get. Okay, and here we are with theme tune 1. Bit of a tough one to start, I think. Hopefully this one will be easier for theme tune 2. And how about theme tune 3? Difficult one again, I think, but theme tune 4 should be more straightforward, I hope. And finally, how about theme tune number 5? And there we are, on to our last round already. And this is our TV Times round, where I can ask you anything 70s TV trivia related. Are you ready? Well, let's go. Question 1. In March 1979, the US sitcom Mork and Mindy was first shown on UK TV, but the character Mork had already appeared on another TV show. Which one? So which TV show had Mork originally appeared in? Question 2. What was the name of the canine companion of Bob Carroll G's in the Saturday morning favourite Tiswas? Question 3. Which UK show introduced its star as the lad himself from 1975 onwards? So who was the lad himself? And question 4. In the Beverly Hillbillies, which part did Donna Douglas play in every one of the 274 episodes? It's quite amazing there were 274 episodes. Anyway, what part did Donna Douglas play in every single one of them? And finally, question 5. How many years was Norman Stanley Fletcher sent to prison for in the opening sequence of Porridge? And that's another quiz done. How have you got on? Whilst you're thinking about that, let's look back at last time's bonus question. And it was a reasonably straightforward one to celebrate our 50th edition of the quiz. I asked you, which date was our first ever quiz episode released to a waiting world? And the answer was 22nd of August 2023. So well done if you managed to work that one out. If you said August 2023, I'm feeling generous, you can have that. Anyway, this time's bonus question is this. We all remember the days of teletext with Oracle and CFAX. But do you remember the name of the post office's version of a text information service that was launched in 1979, which you can access at great expense through your television? If you know the answer, then do let me know by sending an email to quiz@my70stvchildhood.com. All right, let's move on to our answers. Round 1, our back to school round. What was the name of the head teacher in the first episode and indeed most of the first series of Grange Hill? And it was Mr. E. Starling. We never found out what E stood for. His name was on the school board in the opening sequence, and he did appear in one episode. Question 2. Who is the main host of the school quiz Top of the Form? And that was the great Geoffrey Wheeler. And question 3. Which of the following did not present Play School? Colin Jevons, Stuart McGugan, or Keith Chegwin? And the answer was Keith Chegwin. Question 4. Phil Daniels and Ray Burdis starred as two lads leaving school trying to find a career in which ITV drama? That was For Idle Hands. And then back to Grange Hill for question 5. What was Tucker Jenkins' first name, his real first name? And it was rather disappointingly Peter Jenkins. Not very exciting, is it? So Tucker sounds far better. Round 2, our Marathon or Fil Rouge round. On the Tomorrow People, one of my early crushes, Carol, who played Carol, and that was Sammy Windmill. Question 2. Looking back at our Be Afraid, Be Very Afraid episode, who is the famous film star and director who introduced scary stories on an Anglia TV programme? Yeah, and as I say, how they got into go to Norwich, I don't know. Anyway, the answer is Orson Welles, and the show was called Orson Welles' Great Mysteries. So a bonus point if you got that. Question 3. Who did Colin Edmonds write jokes for? For many, many years, he was Bob Monkhouse's joke writer. And question 4. Looking back FA Cup final days in the 1970s, which football team do I support? Or did I support? Well, I still do, unfortunately. That's Manchester United. And question 5. In the US detective show, which husband and wife team were introduced at the start of every episode by their faithful retainer Max, played by Lionel Stander? And that was Jennifer and Jonathan Hart in the opening sequence to Heart to Heart. And what was it he used to say? Their business is murder. I used to like that. All right, on to round 3 and our theme tunes. First one. It's quite tricky, this one. Theme tune 1 was the theme tune to the Doombolt Chase, which was a rather depressing drama I seem to remember, set on a nuclear submarine. Theme tune 2, a bit more straightforward. That was the theme tune to the original version of All Creatures Great and Small. Now, theme tune 3 is an interesting one because this is the theme tune to a 1978 adaptation of Wuthering Heights, which happened to coincide with Kate Bush's single of the same name. Theme tune number 4. That's the theme tune to The South Bank Show with Melvin Bragg. Theme tune 5 is quite an interesting one. This is the theme tune to an ITV sitcom called The Losers, which starred Leonard Rossiter. And he was a wrestling promoter. Not many people remember that one, but if you got that one right, well done. All right, on to round 4. The character Mork had appeared on another TV show before Mork and Mindy. Which one? The answer was Happy Days. Mork appeared as an alien visiting Earth and chatting to Fonzie. Question 2. What was the name of the canine companion of Bob Carolgees in the Saturday morning favourite Tiswas? And that was Spit the dog. Question 3. Which UK show introduced its star as the lad himself from 1975 onwards? And that was Benny Hill in the Benny Hill Show. Question 4. In the Beverly Hillbillies, what part did Donna Douglas play in every one of the 274 episodes? Well, Donna Douglas played Ellie Mae Clampett. And question 5. How many years was Norman Stanley Fletcher sent to prison for in the opening sequence of Porridge? He was sent to prison for 5 years. So how was that for you? Are you jumping for joy, or are you hiding your head in shame? Whichever, I do hope you've enjoyed playing, and if you have done, why not involve your friends and get a bit more competitive? Join us again next week for our next regular podcast, and then again in a fortnight for our next quiz. In the meantime, take care, look after each other, and see you again soon for more from My 70s TV Childhood and the My 70s TV Childhood Quiz.